500 for the first time since 2019-20. I know you weren't here for a lot of those down years, but can you kind of appreciate what that means for the franchise and for some of these players who've been here throughout that?
Yeah, it's a benchmark for the guys who weren't here. I mean, we're here during the losing times. Obviously, myself and some of the vets that we brought in hadn't experienced that, so meaningful to the young fellas that didn't experience a lot of winning, hadn't played for a lot of meaningful basketball late in the season, playing for the playoffs, seeding, standings, and those things, and so good for them, but obviously not our goal. We got where we got last year and obviously wanted to surpass that and felt we should. It'd be a disappointing year if we didn't, so I don't think it's a whole lot of celebration on the part of anybody.
What have you seen from your team during this 5-game winning streak? How have you seen their growth?
Yeah, we've guarded at a high level. I think we've, got back to guarding what we're capable of. Obviously had some slippage in those areas with injuries in some of the lineups. Fred, underrated in that aspect. Jabari being back obviously helps, even though Men's out now. Got some guys that can kind of make up for that, Tari and the things he does. But, that's the thing that stands out the most. And extending leads and closing games has been a big thing with us, not letting those leads slip and teams get back into it when we have a fourth-quarter lead. And it seems like over this streak and even before Fred got back, we started to turn the ship a little bit as far as that.
That 2 through 5 stretch in the West is pretty jumbled right now in the standings. Do you feel like home court advantage is important to your group in particular in the first round?
Yeah, I think in general that's what you strive for, regardless of our group or whoever it is. Our goal is to obviously be as high as we can in the standings, but it's meaningful to be in the 1 through 4 position for the home court advantage. But not only that, it's such a tight race from 4, 5, 6, 7 even, that you don't want to mess around with those lower seedings and be in the play-in or be at a disadvantage with on the road, to start the playoffs. And so much as we can take care of business and worry about what we need to, not rely on anybody else, that's a good thing. And as long as we can finish in that top 4, that's the goal, obviously, to have the home court advantage.
We know that Jalen can score, and we've seen what he's been able to do filling in at the point guard position. What have you seen from him making that concerted effort to get more rebounds?
Yeah, he's been back to playing more all-around ball. I think with Fred being out and him being we'd have 3-minute stretches here and there of being the handler. He's had to think a little bit different as far as getting guys involved. And what we did challenge him on, and guys where we had the slippage, was getting back to the little things and the competitive things and loose balls, 50-50 balls, offensive rebounds, rebounding in general, and helping the bigs out. And I think you see that with his numbers. It's a concerted effort to get back after it and win all those competitive little things that he had taken really good steps in.
Multiple guys when I've talked to them have used the term unselfish to describe this team. How can that unselfishness help propel you guys in the playoffs?
Yeah, the balance is always good for us. Tari being the leading scorer last night, and everybody else taking turns throughout the season. Obviously, Alpi and Jalen are, for the most part, on a nightly basis, gonna be there. But when we can come in layers like that, I think that's when we're at our best. And I always talked about the Chicago game on the road being one of those games with 7 people in double figures, 32 assists, 34 assists, 32 fast break points. That'd be the perfect formula for us. Balance, everybody sharing the ball, equal opportunity, and kind of overwhelming teams defensively. And that game really always stood out in my mind as a perfect game for us, with everybody scoring, not relying on one person, and the unselfishness that you're talking about on both ends.
You kind of mentioned that Fred is underrated defensively. Do you think he's underrated in general? It seems like his impact on winning kind of outpaces his counting stats, so to speak.
Yeah, I would say from maybe the outside looking in, stats-wise, but we understand how the impact he has on us in all those areas. He by means nothing but not a pushover at all. Defensively, just due to stature, you might think you have advantage there, but he's very tough and heady and smart and competitive and all those things. But also, obviously, with us, he settles us down, and when things can get a little haywire, he's a calming presence for us. So I'm not sure around the league how he's viewed, but we know the importance of him here.
Is Jabari gonna?
It's been a while since you played the Bulls. Obviously, they changed their roster. From what you've seen on tape, what are you looking at?
Some different guys in the rotation, young guys getting some opportunities. They're shuffling things around a little bit. Obviously, got some different personnel with the trades, and so the household names that have been there, other than Vucevic, a lot of them are gone. But until the injury with Giddey, those guys were really playing well. Kobe White has obviously taken another step. He did that last year, but he's carried over that into this year. And then some young guys get an opportunity. Obviously, Trey Jones, Zach Collins, the additions from the trade deadline are a little bit different, but guys we're all familiar with. Just seems like they're trying to figure out what it is going forward, giving different guys different looks, different starting lineups at times, and some young guys opportunities, but really good scorers still. And like I said, Kobe White is someone you have to account for.
Is Jabari going to start with Tari out tonight?
Yes.
Thank you.